Okay, so let's talk about dynamic config values. Let's come in here straight. Let's say at inject at config property, and then let's just, this time around, let's say the name is dynamic like this. Then let's say private, then provider like this, t string. Let's call this my dynamic value like this. Now let's come in here and then say dynamic, and let's say my dynamic value like this. So we have our key here. We just want to add default value if you are so inclined. So default value is say nothing dynamic like this. Now let's just create a REST endpoint to expose this. Paste this here. Let me call this dynamic. Then let's say get dynamic. Then let's just return my dynamic value dot get. Okay, so this is a lot. Let's just break this down. We have injected a type provider. Now this provider here is from the CDI API, and anytime it has one method, which is get. Anytime we invoke the get method, as you can see here from the CDI API javax.inject, typically implemented by an injector, blah 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 blah, there is one method. It's an interface here, get. Now this provides a fully constructed and injected instance of the type that we passed. So in here we are passing a type string. Anytime we invoke get, a new instance of type string will be returned to us. So we have our key value pair in here, and that is what we are injecting into this. The application has deployed. Now let's go into the browser. Our resource path is our resource path is dynamic. So let me come in here and say dynamic like this, dynamic, and hit enter. So my dynamic value is coming to us. Now I'm not going to change anything in the source code. I'm just coming to change this value here, like my dynamic value is changing like this without doing anything, without touching the source code whatsoever. Now let me come here and then refresh. So my dynamic value is changing. So without touching the source code or anything, anytime I change any config value in any of the sources, I can get the value injected for me. This is very powerful, because then you can fully externalize configurations to your application without having to worry about caching and all of those things. Very powerful and very easy to use. So this is just about it. This is just a bird's eye view of the API, the config API that comes with MicroProfile. Let's briefly take a look at what we've learned so far and how you can move along to explore further the config API on the Payara server platform.